Found my husband and little sister in bed together. Found husband and little sister in bed together. My 22F husband 22 meters and I had what I thought to be the most amazing, healthy, and happy marriage. We have been together a little over 2 years but have known each other 7. We met in high school. But, never dated. I have a young son, his bio dad is what you would call a deadbeat. My husband stepped up, and has been his father since he was 4 months old. My son and family absolutely adore my husband. He reminds everyone of my father who passed 4 years ago, suddenly of a heart attack. On our living room floor. My family and husband became extremely close, super fast. My husband and I started trying for a baby a couple months after we started dating. But, sadly didn't end up conceiving our son until 15 months after we started trying. Dealing with infertility was extremely bad mentally for me. I spent a lot of time crying into my husband's chest, after about the 7th negative pregnancy test in a row. We were elated when we found out I was pregnant with our second son last November. A global situation happened and put a bit of a damper on my pregnancy. So I had my younger sister 18F over to our apartment a lot to keep me company while my husband worked long hours due to global situation. My siblings and I, there are 4 of us, are all extremely close, but my little sister and I are by far the closest out of all our siblings. I basically raised her after my mom abandoned us to go and live with her boyfriend, 2 months after our father died. Would do anything for her at the drop of a hat and would defend her and be on her side no matter what. One weekend in April, my husband decided to unwind and have a drink for the first time in almost a year. He is pretty straight edge. My little sister was over, so I went out and bought some wine for her to drink so they could have fun a drink together, since I was pregnant and obviously couldn't drink with him. While we all played games and watched movies. It started getting late and I was tired, so I went to bed. I woke up around 1 a.m. and didn't see my husband in bed next to me. So I got up to go see if he was maybe playing video games still. I didn't bother putting my glasses on. When I got out to the living room, I saw with my extremely blurred vision him standing bent over her, while she was laying on the couch. They were both clothed, but it made me feel extremely uneasy and sick to my stomach. I asked what they were doing and my husband said he was talking to her. I backed to the bathroom and started crying, but just thought was being ridiculous and hormonal, and tried pushing it to the back of my head. Only I couldn't. The memory consumed my every thought and was driving me insane. But I didn't have proof that anything had happened and I didn't actually see them doing anything, so, again, I just told myself that I was being crazy and that they would never do something like that to me, especially not while heavily pregnant. My husband started to become increasingly distant and just plain nasty to me. Seemingly always finding something to fight with me about. Not showing me any attention or affection or time. Which was extremely out of character and unlike him. I brushed it off as him being stressed about the new baby. My husband and I bought our first home in May and I wanted all of our rooms painted before we moved in. My husband agreed, and my sister offered to help him. Fast forward to July, after 3 months of feeling like something just wasn't and that my marriage was failing. I woke up one Monday morning 9 months pregnant, to an empty bed, my husband nowhere in sight. My little sister had spent the night. I put in my contacts and then went into the living room to see if he was up playing with the new kitten we had gotten the night before. No sign of him. My stomach dropped. The door to my unborn child's nursery was open, where my little sister was sleeping. My heart sank. My feet felt like cement blocks, but I slowly started walking towards the room. Only to see my husband on his knees giving OL to my baby sister in our unborn son's nursery. The first words out of my mouth was, "I ducking knew it, get out of my house." I'll never forget the look on their faces. I was so heartbroken and traumatized. I ran to our master bathroom and just stood there in shock. My husband eventually came in and tried to talk to me. I threw everything within reach at him and told him to get out and leave me alone. He didn't, so I pushed past him. The rest is a blur, and I don't remember much of it. Except hiding his keys so he could drive her back to my mom's house. He ended up doing so anyways. I am still so hurt and devastated, but can't bring myself to leave him, even though I am disgusted, beyond hurt and devastated by this. I have only spoke to my sister a few times, trying to get answers as to how the duck she could actually do something like that to me of all people. Neither of them have an answer, and they had us time almost every time she was over and I went to sleep. I have no want or need for a relationship with my sister. I truly feel she owes me more loyalty than anyone is this planet. How do I heal from this ultimate betrayal from the two people I'm closest to? Edit, just to clear up some confusion. My husband did not groom or take advantage of her. She has said it was 100% consensual. My husband and her both have said there was absolutely no romantic feelings involved in it either. Just purely time. Also, I might add that my little sister has an extensive history with sleeping with grown men. But I never thought she'd cross the line and sleep with my husband. I am by no means taking the heat off of him by saying this either. Currently, a man 27 is serving prison time for getting caught having time with her in the back of his car when she was 15. Also, the dude had the same name as our older brother. She's just got serious issues. A couple years back I found out she'd been using my time toys while I was at work. Obviously grossed me out and I threw them away. She's deranged and has boundary issues. But again, I genuinely never thought she'd do anything to try and ruin my marriage or relationship with me. She's also holds an extremely special place in my son's heart. I don't get why she'd chance ruining it. I'm so confused honestly. Story 2. Update. I installed a hidden camera in the house and caught my girlfriend cheating. Where the duck do I even start? My girlfriend 20 has been living with me 21 and my family for the past 2 years, been together for almost 4. She got into a huge fight with her dad and decided to move out. My mom, being the kind person she's always been, offered to let her live with us. I agreed, of course. I loved her. Now, I've always been somewhat of a jealous type in a relationship, but not the crazy kind. The title suggested otherwise, I know, but it was the only way to the truth. My suspicions first arose about a year ago when I was playing this board game Codenames with my sister 24, her boyfriend 24 and the cheating BTCH, let's call her Stacy. Stacy and my sister's boyfriend were on a team together, and right away I didn't like the energy they were giving off. She was laughing at all his jokes, he was teasing her about some acid. It all just looked flirtatious to me, and I wasn't having any of that. That night, I talked to her about it and she told me that it was nothing. Of course, during this time, I was going to school and had a job working as a cook, so I was out of the house most of the time. Some days I wouldn't get home until midnight. My parents worked 8-4 jobs, as well as my sister. My girlfriend only worked weekends, and she took her schooling online. My sister boyfriend is in construction, but his schedule is 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. Most of the day, Stacy and my sister's boyfriend were home alone together. My suspicions only grew ever since that board game night. Every time they were in a room together, Stacy would barely look at him anymore. They'd make small talk here and there. I could tell the dynamic of their relationship changed. I confronted Stacy again, asking why all of a sudden she was acting so awkward around him, and she said it's because she doesn't want to upset me. At this point I felt bad for making her feel guilty. I said I'd never bring it up again, and I kept my word. Until 6 days ago, I was lying down on the couch upstairs in the living room. Stacy was in the kitchen, which was half visible from where I was, making a smoothie. My sister's boyfriend comes downstairs, and starts making lunch for himself. I couldn't see what they were doing, but I pretended not to care, holding my phone to my face. I could barely see their figures in the back door's glass reflection. They were shifting around each other, trying to do their own thing, when all of a sudden he slaps her ass. In that moment, I felt frozen. Every part of me flared up. After my sister's boyfriend went back upstairs, I got up from the couch, went to the front door, and put my shoes on. Stacy comes toward me and says, "Where are you going?" And I just responded, "Really?" I saw what just happened, then I left and slammed the door behind me. She chased after me, getting all angry, trying to act as if nothing even happened. I told her what I saw, which just made her even more mad. A reflection? So you're saying you didn't even see it then? You thought you saw it, you wanted to see it just to justify your psycho thoughts. At this point she's threatening to break up with me. Saying she's going to move out and live on her own. making me feel guilty by saying she's broke, that she'll have to drop out of school and work full-time at a AITA job. As much as I wanted to just end all of it and let her go at this point. I apologized. I apologized for everything, begged her to stay, and promised to never, ever bring it up again. It took a lot of convincing, but eventually she decided to stay and we walked back to the house, but I knew what I saw. I just needed hard evidence. That same night I ordered a tiny black hidden camera from Amazon. When it arrived, I set it up in the living room next to the kitchen just at the corner of one of the curtains. The next morning 2 days ago when everyone was still asleep, I discreetly took out the chip, put it in the USB, and quickly went through the footage on my laptop. Nothing. I cleared up the space and put the chip back in the camera. And then yesterday, I finally got what I wanted. I woke up before everyone else again, and viewed the chip. Approximately at 3:15 a.m., I saw my sister's boyfriend slowly walk downstairs and sit on the couch. A few minutes later, Stacy walks upstairs from our room. She carefully walks over to him, sits on his lap, and I couldn't bear to watch anymore. I was in complete disbelief. The girl who I spent 4 years with, the girl I thought I was going to spend the rest of my life with. Cheating on me with my sister's boyfriend. All this time. Lying to my face, making me feel guilty. I went back downstairs, woke up Stacy, placed the laptop in front of her, and played the video. As soon as she realized what was happening, she instantly closed it and froze. Nothing was said for what felt like an eternity. She started sobbing, trying to utter words until I finally spoke up. You're the most conniving, disgusting sociopath I've ever met. Start packing your asset right ducking now, or I'm sending this to everyone you know. We're done. What followed was a very long, pathetic, sorry excuse for an apology that I don't even want to get into. Eventually she called her dad, he came by and picked her, so I guess she's going to live with her family again. A lot of her things are still here, and she doesn't have any friends to deliver it to her, so I have no idea what to do with all the asset. As for my sister and her boyfriend, has also been kicked out of the house and now has his own place somewhere. Who knows, maybe Stacy might even move in with him, I don't ducking care.